Hey, I am so sorry, everybody, about that awful start. The second I hit stream, my internet crapped out, just turned off, and I have no idea why. I'm going to see if I can get Flatzoid back, because he was here, and he's actually being very decent about everything. So, props to Flatzoid. So give me 1 sec, and I will get him back in the stream, and we will get on with this, what I'm sure is going to be an intellectual discussion of the highest caliber. Right. That was an awful start, wasn't it? Sorry about that, guys. Hey, I'm FTFE. Welcome back to the channel that does to stupidity what I did to the start of my live stream, and watched my numbers plummet as I struggled to get my internet to reconnect. Sorry about that, everybody, and my apologies to Flatzoid as well. But hopefully he'll be back in any second, and we'll get this going. Wow. Brilliant start, hey? Golden Skeptic says, I think FTFE must be a secret flerf. Yeah, break technology just by touching it somehow. Even the background TV was buffering. Yes, it all was. It's all coming back on now. Mallory says that was the best bit of the stream. Golden Knight says, did you make sure to check for malicious mallaryware? Yeah, it's all your fault, Mallory. Get the fuck out my chat. Only kidding. So, tonight isn't going to be about Flat Earth, as usual. Tonight is going to be about science, and the current war in the Flat Earth between the Jisms and the Oaklyites. The Jisms, Jaren Campanella's crew. I am so sorry, everybody. Oh, and there's my thing playing back. Jism, Jaren Campanella's crew are saying that science proves, and the Oaklyites are saying that science doesn't prove, and saying that Jaren is a scammer for saying that. And it hurts to have these words come out of my mouth, but Jeranism is correct. There's no such thing as scientific proof. So, that's what we're going to be debating tonight. Smithsoft, who became a new member, thank you very much. Especially appreciated considering the shit start to the stream. Sparky NJ for $5 says, Flat Earthers have tech problems, Fight is having tech problems, therefore Fight is a flerfer. I mean, it correlates, right? That's a logical progression that makes absolute sense. I guess the Earth is flat. Yeah, people are going to clip that, aren't they? And Flatzoid is back in. Flatzoid.
And there we go.
There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. My sincere apologies.
Okay,
the second I hit stream, my internet just turned off.
Can't hear me. Let's see if I can search in. Please.
I can hear you.
He's okay. He's live now.
Yes. Can you hear me?
I'm just going to mute his sound because we don't need his sound on YouTube though, because I'm going to be using YouTube as the
just waiting for him to
thing on here.
say you can
So
hear
just got to quickly set up the OBS.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's having issues, but it's my fault that he's having issues because he had to reconnect the Zoom.
Obviously, so much work when it comes to this, guys. It's crazy.
M. Schneider, member from 90 Club, says, cheer up FTFE, Failzoid can fail bigger than that.
And then I'm going to place
hey,
it again.
This was my fail. I'm going to own it.
Browse. FTFE YouTube stream. Oh, man.
Can you hear me is the question.
It is social media on your Huawei phone.
Can
but of course, it's like a text or a bus. All you have to do is go to the app gallery, download all my Netflix, Spotify, and jam all the way. Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, Instagram, or Gmail, download.
This is all coming from Flatzoid's stream.
And remember, if you happen to get lost,
sorry, I can't skip the app, guys.
You need to get YouTube Pro, dude.
Drugs.
You need to get YouTube Pro, dude. Can you hear me, Flatzoid? Okay, there's a lot of echo going on there. Can you hear me, Flatzoid?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of feedback from you. Going on there.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how to silence you.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of feedback from you.
Yeah. Yeah. Just quickly trying to silence you.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of feedback from you.
Audio filters. Man, this is a mess up over.
I'm not sure what's happening there.
How do I mute on the...
I'm not sure what's happening there. I think he's having issues separating Zoom from his stream on OBS. I think he's having issues separating Zoom from his stream on OBS. It's something that we've all had issues with.
Up, yeah?
I think he's having issues separating Zoom from his stream on OBS. It's something that we've all had issues with. Ow. Yeah, I've had to mute that because there's lots of feedback. Yeah, Rick Sanchez says, I broke everything. I broke the internet and then I broke Flatzoid. It was all connected and it was working. Oh, I just broke my headset. Right, can you hear me?
I don't know if you guys can see this. Wow.
Can you hear me, Flatzoid?
Just not working. And I had it all set up fine, and now it's not working. Sorry, guys, I am trying. Can you guys see this on the screen? I don't know if it will show like that if I do it. Let's go see your channel. Let's see if it's showing that way. I'm just going to wait for the adverts to pass again.
Right, let's be fair to Flatzoid here. I've had the same tech issues as him many times with things like this.
How do I get that showing now there? Oh,
he's relatively new to streaming. So
this is just not maybe
I know it's funny.
Window capture. It's got Zoom.
Steam Addiction for $5 says, if you teach a flerf that it's really a globe, they only learn until next reset. If you teach a flerf to do research, you teach them for life.
Okay. Is it showing?
Can you hear me? I don't think you can hear me.
It's showing. Yeah, tech. We go back into YouTube quickly, check if it's showing there. Oh man.
He can't see my stream.
Sorry, there's some technical issues. I was all set up and then Fighter Planet got it somehow mixed up and then all of a sudden now I'm having issues.
My internet broke Flatzoid. I don't know how. That's an impressive fail on my part to also make Flatzoid fail. So
ask him if he can go on.
Saying, do you want to try
Discord?
Discord?
If you can Discord chat.
Yeah.
Maybe that will work because this Zoom is just not working.
Okay.
So then I'll just stick his logo in there. It's going to be much better than zoom, remove, and then I can just add his logo there. Let's see, display.
Right, I need to figure out to get my audio from Discord to come out if he's doing that. So give me 1 sec.
Downloads.
Output device. Audio cable
Yeah.
D.
Okay, I can't seem to find his logo now. No, but that's a media source, that's why I put the wrong one. Okay,
Testing,
let's see what it
testing.
says with Discord. Can you Discord chat? How do I call on Discord? There we go. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
there we go. Oh man. What a mission.
Right.
I can't get Zoom to work.
It seems to me like you're having issues separating the audio of your stream from your input, because I'm also getting echo now.
Yeah, I don't know. But I can't get Zoom to do nothing there.
Okay,
So I'm just gonna so we can chat through Discord then, is that fine? And then I'll just stick your logo on my screen.
yeah, but I'm getting echo through Discord
of myself.
Oh, I'm getting nothing. To me it sounds perfect.
All right, 1 second. Testing, testing. Right, now I need to bring your audio from Discord through. Okay, now give me 1 second. Apparently the audio doesn't want to come through from Discord. Output device cable A. That's cable A is on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
There we go. Done. Sorted.
Okay. Okay, so we're up and running it.
Yes.
What a mission.
I do apologize. As soon as I hit stream, my internet turned off. Like, I have no idea why. It just died.
No stress.
Yeah. And I do seem to still be getting a little bit of feedback of myself. That I'm hearing what you're putting out back. If I speak quieter, it doesn't do it. I'll just try and keep my register as low as possible.
Must I maybe put the volume down a touch? Maybe this will help. Changes the threshold a bit.
Okay.
Is this a bit?
It sounds good to me.
Okay.
I can hear you. You can hear me. My stream can hear you, and your stream can hear me. Yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
Then that's
Right.
fine. We don't hear each other.
So, science, huh?
Yeah. What is science?
So interesting. It's a study, isn't it? Oh, I'm still getting that echo back of me.
Yeah, it's perfect on my side. I'm not getting any echo.
Yeah, what I'm hearing back is myself through your microphone.
Okay. Maybe. Let me do it this way. Because I don't have any earphones with me. My children broke my earphones.
That's probably what it is. Right, okay. That's fine.
Yeah, so it's got the echo through the TV. Okay, is this a bit better?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Yeah, I'm not getting any echo back now.
Okay.
Okay. So, just before we get to science, can I ask you a question about Professor Dave?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you accept that I was right that he is a professor?
I said technically he's not a professor, like I told you today, because he was a lecturer before he got his master's. He obviously, I conceded he got his master's now in 2018 that I saw today. But you'd have to first have your master's, then you go to become a lecturer, then you become a professor. And he's not lecturing at the moment at any place, is he?
So in America, to be classed as a professor, you simply have to have taught at college. That's it. That's the only criteria to be a professor.
Yeah, in America, I looked it up. You have to have a degree. At least you have to have a degree, and then you can be professing at a community college.
Or even high school, technically, in America.
Yeah.
So
but like
he's never... So when flat earthers say he's lying about being a professor, that's not true. Because he is a professor by all definitions of what he does, teaching at college level, regardless of his education, he is a professor.
That's what I say, technically he's not, because he's not lecturing at any institution. So he's not a professor. You have to literally lecture at institution.
But he has done. He has lectured at colleges, and therefore he is a professor.
Remember, he lectured before he got his degree, so he was not.
Doesn't matter. Like I said, in America, it doesn't matter what the qualifications are, as long as you have taught at college, you are classed as a professor.
Okay, so we'll just both say, I'm going to say on a technical aspect, he's not professor though, but I'll concede he's got the qualifications to be a professor if he had to go and walk and become a lecturer now.
But the thing is that what I'm saying is the fact that he taught at college at all, that's what makes him a professor. It doesn't matter if he had a master's or not. The fact that he taught at college is by definition what makes him a professor.
Okay, but like I say, we can agree to disagree. On a technical aspect, he could be, but that's in America. But as far as I know, the way you need to get to become a professor, he hasn't filled that criteria.
I mean, individual countries' definitions are very different. That's something we can both agree on, right?
100%.
Okay, right. It's just interesting. So many flat earthers say, "Oh, you're not a professor," when he is. But anyway, Professor Dave out of the way. Science. The main point of this is that I say that science doesn't prove things. There literally is no such thing as scientific proof. And you guys very much disagree with that, right?
No, not actually. I think you maybe got a misunderstanding. We don't say science proves. The only thing science can prove is a hypothesis. That's it. Because it either validated or invalidated. That means it proves the hypothesis. That's all science proves.
It disproves. Science tries to disprove a hypothesis. Science doesn't try to prove a hypothesis, it tries to disprove it. And if it doesn't disprove it, that's it. There's no proof in science. Whether it's a hypothesis or not, there just is no such thing as proof in any part of the scientific process.
What is the antithesis of proof, of disprove?
The antithesis of disprove is prove, but science doesn't prove, it disproves. That's the aim of science, is to try and disprove things. And if it doesn't disprove things, then we accept that. But the thing about science is that it's transitional. Science never claims to be complete. There's no, be all and end all. This is the answer. This is how it is. Because the next day, someone can come along with a better theory that's a better explanation and a better understanding, which means that nothing was ever proved. It was you can disprove something. You can say it's not this. This is what we think it is, and here's all the evidence to suggest it. But within science, there just simply is no such thing as proof.
You would agree that the scientific method is empirical?
Empirical in the sense that you can do observations. Empirical evidence can be part of the scientific method. Yeah.
Okay, so you do understand what the word empirical means and evidence.
Yeah, and that's why I said that the scientific part of the scientific method can be presenting empirical evidence.
So then it can be proven, because that is what evidence means, to prove.
No, evidence doesn't mean to prove, and empirical doesn't mean prove either. Where did you get that empirical means prove?
I'm going to share my screen. Would you be able to see? I'm sharing my screen.
Through Discord, not sure. Hold on.
Let's see if it's showing. Okay. Yeah, I'm not on Discord. I'm on YouTube though, so it might be difficult.
Can you share your screen to Discord, and I can bring that through?
I can try. Let me just quickly just.
So the thing is, I mean, you can try and talk about the definitions of words and stuff all you want, but that doesn't change what science itself actually does. And I've got countless citations that say that there is no such thing as scientific proof.
And would you concede if I can show you at least one that says there is scientific proof?
Depends which one it is. If it's one that's been corrected, which I think it is, then you would have to use the latest citation from that thing, yeah?
Okay, but anyway, I'll get to that still. I'm just trying to get quickly...
Right, let me...
Because I actually set up a whole... I was going to do a presentation kind of thing. But let's see. But we didn't work out any debate structure, so that's fine.
Yeah, right. Okay, let me bring this. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to bring through what you're showing. Make that full screen. Okay, right, yeah, your screen's up.
Yeah, so you can see it's showing their scientific method.
Yeah.
Okay, so just quickly, it's just a method procedure that has characterized natural science since the 17th century, consisting of systematic observation. We all know you have to observe something to actually have an hypothesis to create. You understand that?
Yeah, yeah, I very much understand the scientific method, being that I've done a degree in physics, so yeah, yeah.
Okay. And your experiment will either validate or invalidate the hypothesis. You agree with that?
Not prove. Yeah, invalidate or validate. That's not prove. Those are different words.
Okay. Let's first go to empirical. Empirical means based on observation or experience. So that means, yes, you've observed it. Being verified or disproved by observation or experiment. So you would agree empiricism has nothing to do with anybody's worldview and opinions. It's simply just an empirical, it's either A or B. It gets verified or it gets disproved. You agree with that?
Well, that's not what it means. It means that it's capable of being verified or disproved. And you notice that it doesn't say proved or disproved there.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's only, that's what it means. It's capable of being verified or disproved. There's no in between.
Yeah, but there's no, it's no proved, right? It says verified. We agree with that?
But you understand what verified means?
Yeah, it means verified. It doesn't mean proved, it means verified.
Okay, so you say we have evidence when we use science. It gives us evidence to lead to something.
Science is all about evidence, not proof, yeah.
Okay, so the available body of facts. That means evidence is a fact or information indicating whether a belief or proposition is true or valid. Okay? So we understand that?
Yeah. Presenting evidence is a thing, yeah.
Okay, cool. So what does validation mean? That's what a hypothesis does. It validates or disproves. The action of checking or proving, see that? Proving the validity of the accuracy of something.
Yeah, okay, so what you're doing here is just using words and definitions and semantics. What I asked for is citations that science proves things. All right?
I'm still going to get there.
This is what flat earthers do all the time, is they just go through words, and the words have different meanings, and it can mean this and it can mean that, but in science they have specific meanings. That like natural in science doesn't mean what natural means in vernacular usage, right? So when you're looking at these words, what you should be doing is searching for what does validation mean in science or within the scientific method, not just the general meaning of the word. What we should do is stick to citations about science from, well, hopefully .edu sites.
Validation in science has been defined as the process in which reliability and relevance of a particular approach, method, process, or assessment is established for a defined purpose. Okay, let's go see what it says there.
So, do you know what logical positivity is? Sorry, wrong word. Logical positivism is.
Just
explain it
to me.
Well, that was when they used to believe that science proves, right? Like before the 1900s. You know, that was the method of science back then. It was called logical positivism, which was when they did say that science proves. But even the main the main person that pushes that said that it isn't a thing anymore after he finished writing his book on it. What was his name? Sorry. Logical positivism was when they used to think that science proved, and the main proponent of logical positivism was A.J. Ayers, and even he, after writing a book on it, said that he's wrong and science doesn't prove, and we've moved past that way of thinking. And science very specifically now says that it does not prove. You know, so do you have like citations from a scientist or from .edu sites and stuff that says specifically that science is in the business of proving? Or could I maybe present the, maybe 15 citations that I've got that say that it doesn't?
Don't worry, we're still getting there. That's why I'm first laying the foundations of what the words mean. There's a whole reason why I'm first laying the words.
But what you're doing is you're laying the foundations of what words mean colloquial, right? What would be handy is if you could maybe search for what the words mean within science, rather than just looking up the definition of words, which, as we all know, language is a very fluid thing and means different things in different contexts.
So, falsify, to prove a statement or theory to be false. The hypothesis is falsified by the evidence. That you would say is not scientific.
No, it says the hypothesis is falsified by the evidence. It doesn't say the hypothesis is proven. It's falsified, which is disproven.
Antithesis of falsified.
Yeah, again, what I just said to you, Flat, what you're doing is you're just using words and definitions and circular reasoning of the way that language is fluid. What we need is citations from scientists and science websites and science educational things that talk about science. Can you present that, or are you just going to do the normal flat earther thing of trying to use definitions of words to meet your purpose?
I'm trying to get there, but you're not giving me a chance. Like I said, I first have to lay the foundation so that the word...
Okay, well, I will accept the foundations that you're laying if you search specifically for what they mean in science, not just colloquial.
They are not colloquial definitions. It's scientific definitions. Are you telling me falsification means something else? Because
it doesn't mean prove, does it? It's falsifying it, not proving it. That's the opposite. Science does not prove.
Disprove or prove.
Falsify means disprove, not prove. You don't prove it, you falsify it, which disproves it. You do not prove a hypothesis. There's no way to prove a hypothesis. That is literally impossible.
Okay. If you have a hypothesis, you have a null, correct?
Yeah.
So, do you prove the one and disprove the other one?
All you do is try to disprove the hypothesis. That's it. Okay. So, can you just get to the part where you show me the citations that science proves, rather than just going round with words? Or maybe I could just show you the one citation that will end this.
Okay, we'll get there now. Like I'm saying, you have a hypothesis and you have your null hypothesis. It's either A or it's B. You've heard this before. If you've disproved the one, you have validated the other one, aka you've proven the null. If you
just change the words. You just change the words. That's not proven. It's validated. That's not proven. That's a different word. Use the words that are there, not the words that you would like to use.
Validation means...
Yeah, so stick with that word, not the other word that you want it to mean.
Validation involves performing laboratory tests to verify that the particular instrument software program... Okay, that's just technical...
Yeah. So once again, stop with the definitions and the circular reasoning around words and the fluidity of language, right? And get to the citations that say specifically that science proves.
If you let me get there, I'll get there. But like I say, if you can show me one word how about you show me a citation where validation does not mean proven? How's that sound?
That's not my claim. I'm just saying that science doesn't mean prove.
I can show you result of the result saying validation means prove. I've just showed it on screen.
Science does not prove. It's as simple as that.
You're making a claim telling me it does not.
Yeah, because there is literally no such thing as scientific proof, right? So, what do you want? Do you want Berkeley or do you want Harvard? Which educational part thing do you want that will disprove you? Because Berkeley's a good school. Harvard's an even better one, to be fair.
Scientific evidence relies on data.
Oregon State.
And it is critical for researchers to ensure that the data they collect is representative of the true situation. This means using proved or appropriate ways to collecting and analyzing the data and ensuring the research is conducted ethically and safely.
Right, where is this from?
TheConversation.com.
Lovely. Can we see maybe a .edu site instead of just a website written by some dude?
Academic skills. Hypothesis. In simple terms, a hypothesis is
which website is this?
A hypothesis should be based on a strong rationale that is usually supported by background research. From the question about sparrow nests, you might hypothesize sparrows use grasses in their nests rather than twigs because grasses are the more abundant material in the habitat. The abundance hypothesis might be supported by your prior knowledge about the availability of nest building materials, i.e. grasses are more abundant than the twigs. Then
excellent. Could you show me the before you move on from that, could you point out where in that part of the hypothesis it says prove for me?
I didn't say it said prove, did I?
Well, your claim is that you prove the hypothesis. Where does it say there that you prove the hypothesis?
You made the claim that a hypothesis cannot be proven.
Yeah, because you don't prove hypothesis, you disprove hypothesis. That's what science does.
The purposes of disprove means prove. No matter how hard you want it to mean something else.
Disprove is not prove. That's another word. You disprove something, you don't prove it. That's why it can be changed. Science, you do understand that science is transitional, right?
No, pseudoscience is transitional.
Oh, no. Science is transitional. Who told you that science... Oh, okay, right. Right.
It's an empirical method. It's an empirical method. Science is a method.
It's transitional as well. Science is literally transitional.
You want to test it out quickly, Craig? Should we test the hypothesis out quickly?
Would you like me to start showing citations that actually say science doesn't prove, or do you not want me to get to those?
Come on, should we test the hypothesis out quickly? Then you can show me how you can...
What do you do before you test the hypothesis? You've missed a step.
I'm asking you a simple question. Yes or no? Shall we test the hypothesis out quickly?
Well, that depends what the prediction would be from the hypothesis.
Oh, so now you're actually going against your word that you're saying you can change it. If it's validated...
No, I never said... When did I say... Nice gaslighting attempt there, Flatzoid. I never said that in the slightest. Just so we know we're on the same page, what is the next step after hypothesis in the scientific method?
Well, you have to do the prediction and experiment, then analysis, and then a report.
So you agree that prediction is part of the scientific method?
After hypothesis, yeah.
That's funny because you told me it wasn't last time.
No,
in fact, you sent me an email specifically telling me how stupid I was because I said prediction is a different thing to hypothesis.
Wait, you misrepresent me.
Sorry?
Prediction is hypothesis. You know why? Because you're predicting the cause.
Yeah. But my point here, Flatzoid, is that you said exactly the opposite last time we spoke.
No, I did not. You are misrepresenting my words.
No.
Again,
you told me that prediction is part of the hypothesis.
What I said was the hypothesis actually is the prediction.
Yeah, and that's wrong.
It's pseudoscience to say you have a prediction actually after the hypothesis.
No, because that is the scientific method. It's you have the hypothesis, and from the hypothesis, you then form the prediction.
I'm going to do this again with you, Craig. If I have an IV, is that my predicted cause?
Yeah. Of the hypothesis, yes, but you don't. The hypothesis isn't the prediction. You then take your hypothesis and you use that to form a prediction. Your hypothesis isn't your prediction.
Sorry, a cause is a prediction, is it not?
No. Again, your hypothesis is not your prediction. They are separate things. Your hypothesis is something. And in your hypothesis, you say, well, I think this particular IV causes this particular DV. This is what I hypothesize. The next thing you do is you go, well, if that's true, then this will happen. And then you form a prediction. You form a prediction based on your hypothesis. But your hypothesis is not your prediction. And I can actually present a citation saying specifically that the hypothesis and prediction are different things.
Craig, again, misrepresenting what I said. I said prediction comes after hypothesis, but you still got prediction in your hypothesis. That's why I said you misrepresented.
No, that's literally not what you said. You argued with me specifically that there is no separate prediction. That was your exact words. We had a long argument about that, and you laughed at me. You laughed at me several times. You laughed at me several times when I said, no, you form a prediction from your hypothesis. But now you're agreeing that you have your hypothesis and then you form your prediction. Is that right?
Prediction with our hypothesis, Craig.
Nice gaslighting. Listen to the words. Listen to the word. Flatzoid, hold on. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth, right? Listen to the words coming out of my mouth, Flatzoid. You have your hypothesis, and from your hypothesis, you form a prediction.
What I just said. You have your prediction in your hypothesis.
No, that's the opposite of what I said.
You don't have a hypothesis, you cannot have a prediction. That's the whole point.
Yes, but your hypothesis and prediction are separate things. Do you understand this?
Yes, but you do not have a prediction without it in your hypothesis. That's what the IV is there for.
No. Again, you're squishing them together. The hypothesis isn't the prediction. You have your hypothesis, and then you use your hypothesis to form a prediction.
Okay. Are we going to quickly test the hypothesis out so I can show you that you
what is your hypothesis?
Okay. Water boils because of heat energy.
Water boils because of heat energy. We can agree.
At one
well, water boils because of the transfer of heat energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's not the only reason, but okay. Yep. What's your IV there?
This is just that hypothesis. The cause is heat energy transference, and the DV would be water boiling. You would agree with that?
So the IV is heat energy transference.
Mm-hmm.
And the DV is the water boiling.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So what's your prediction?
The water will boil when I've added heat energy transfer.
Okay, that's just your hypothesis. You need a different prediction.
I predicted it will boil. I did the test. It boiled when I did it.
Well, yeah, but your prediction's the same as the hypothesis there, and according to science, your prediction is separate to your hypothesis. All you're doing there is you're taking your hypothesis and going straight to experiment. You haven't actually made the prediction.
Prediction comes after the experiment.
No, prediction does not come after experiment. Who told you that? How can prediction come after experiment when you do your experiment to test your prediction?
Which is in the hypothesis.
Okay, listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. The hypothesis and the prediction are separate things. They are not the same thing. Your prediction is not in your hypothesis. You use your hypothesis to form a separate prediction.
That's what I'm telling you. That's how we're testing it. I'm giving you the
hypothesis. Your prediction there was the hypothesis. You haven't formed a prediction.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Do a prediction now based on my hypothesis, please.
Well, your hypothesis was that if you apply heat energy, then water will boil, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So then you could say, well, if that's the case, then I predict that as a certain amount of heat energy is applied, then I will get steam as a result of the boiling. Right? You can agree. You can agree that when water boils, steam happens. Okay.
That's what it is.
Right.
It's
okay.
That's what water boiling is.
Right. But what about the variables that you're not controlling for?
I didn't state any controls in the hypothesis, did I? But you usually do
But
state control.
well, the hypothesis needs a control variable.
Therefore, to state the control variable.
What was your control variable in your hypothesis?
You kept it at 1 atmospheric pressure.
Right. So So your hypothesis is actually at 1 atmospheric pressure, water will boil when I apply heat energy. Right?
False. False. Only 1 IV. You don't get 2 IVs. That's a control.
Yeah, the control is that we're at 1 atmospheric pressure. So that's the control. We're at 1 atmospheric pressure, right? All right. So what you can actually let's go on from that and go to the prediction, right? You could say that, well, if I change the atmospheric pressure, then it's going to change where it boils. So your prediction could be the amount of heat energy that you have to apply to make it boil. So if we're sticking at 1 atmospheric pressure, right, then your prediction would have to be something like, I will apply X amount of energy to make the water boil in X amount of time, right?
But that's
So,
just
and then that's something that you can perform an experiment on, right? So that you can then get an experiment to test that. Yeah?
Why have you moved away from my hypothesis that
I haven't moved away from your hypothesis. Your hypothesis is water boils when you add heat energy, right? Which means that the prediction that you can make from that would be something like, okay, so if I apply X amount of heat energy, the water will boil in X amount of time.
So a new hypothesis.
No, that's the prediction formed from your hypothesis.
Another hypothesis.
That's a prediction formed from your hypothesis. Right. Let's talk it through again, right? Your hypothesis is that water boils when you apply heat energy. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the hypothesis.
A prediction from that would be something like you apply X amount of heat energy to get an X reaction in a certain amount of time. That is a specific prediction. No, it's not a hypothesis. That's a prediction. You are predicting. Listen, right? Don't interrupt me when I'm talking. You are predicting that something will happen based on your hypothesis. Your hypothesis is that heat energy makes water boil. So you make a prediction on that. Well, if that's the case, if I apply this amount of heat energy, the water will boil this quickly. That is something that you can then perform an experiment on, because that's the point of the prediction, right? You've got certain parameters now that you can actually test that is formed specifically from your hypothesis.
So you would agree then your control variables is your prediction in your hypothesis.
The control variables is your prediction in your hypothesis. The control variable, I thought you said, was the 1 atmospheric pressure.
Yeah, but you are stating extra controls now to get the desired result.
That's because in your prediction, you have to predict that something will happen. Specifically. Now, the prediction, like I've just said, is that, well, if my hypothesis is that heat energy applies, then that means that if X heat energy is applied to this, the water will boil in X amount of time. Now, let's make an experiment to test that. And then that would disprove or not disprove your hypothesis, right?
So, in other words, we have validated the null, or we've had validated the hypothesis, correct?
Yeah, no proof.
What? So we've disproved the null, or we've disproved the hypothesis?
Disproved,
correct?
Yeah, that's what science does, it disproves.
Great. What's the antithesis of disprove?
We're not talking about antithesis, we're just talking about the actual words, because language is fluid, and we're going to talk about what science says, not what we think language says. All right? How about we just get straight to the...
Okay,
let's go to Harvard, shall we? All right, because what you're doing is you're dancing around. You're trying to say your hypothesis is your prediction. Hold on.
Running away because I'm trying to get into.
I'm not running. I'm trying to talk to you.
You're trying to move to citations now.
Yes, because that's what we'll deal with this. All right. What we're gonna do is hold on. What we're gonna do is we're gonna stop. Right, stop 1 sec. Give me a chance. Let's just stop the dancing around and just get to the meat of it, okay? Show me a citation that says science proves.
you can wait for the citation so we can just quickly get to the crux
Okay,
of
what
the
I'll do
argument.
is I'll just show my citation then, okay? So we're going to talk about from harvard.edu. Well, no, I'm just disproving you right now. All right, I'm done with the dancing around. I'm done with the Flatzoid, just listen. I'm done with the dancing around. I'm done with the semantics. All right,
Then he had to move away.
Flatzoid, will you listen for 1 second? Just listen for 1 second. I'm done with dancing around. I'm done with the semantics. Let's just get to the meat of it. I am going to show a citation right now to prove that you are wrong. All right?
Then we'll get my citation now.
Yeah, we're at the citation right now, okay? So here we go. From harvard.edu. Right, Flatzoid, just listen. Flatzoid, just listen. Flatzoid. Flatzoid, will you just listen? Just for 2 minutes. Just be a big boy and just listen. All right? We've done enough dancing around. Let's just get to it. Here is my citation that proves you are wrong. Okay? This is from harvard.edu. Okay? And we're going to read it. All right? We're going to read. No. We're done. We're done with the dancing around, and we're going to read this citation from Harvard University about scientific proof. Okay?
Guys.
Are you scared? Are you scared to see the citation about scientific proof?
With the citation, you can show 500 citations.
So what you're doing is you're saying you're scared to see the citation about scientific proof.
You can wait until I've made the point, then you can show.
No, I'm just going to read the citation about scientific proof, right? So this, Flatzoid, give me 5 minutes. Don't talk, right? And then you can try and rebut what the Harvard University has said, okay? If you can rebut Harvard University with a citation that says Harvard University is wrong, then you win the debate. Otherwise, you lose the debate, okay?
I see what I said. He thinks there's some kind of losing and winning.
There is. You're either wrong or you're right. So what we're going to do is we're going to read the citation about scientific proof from Harvard University, okay? Here we go.
Okay, guys.
No, Flatzoid, I'm sure your chat needs to hear this as well, all right? So just let me read this citation from Harvard University, okay? Here we go. So, for years the media has led the public to believe many erroneous notions regarding science through its endless streams of faulty publications. Those misconceptions have turned and discredited science in its entirety and inspired a culture of doubt and distrust amongst the scientific community and the public. One of the most popular misconceptions about science is the notion of scientific proof. Although it may seem paradoxical, there is no such thing as proof in science, only scientific evidence. In order to establish a difference between the two concepts, it's important to understand what makes science a science. Contrary to popular belief, it is not the idea that it provides ironclad, irrefutable, final proofs for the many phenomena in our natural world. However, science is predicated on the ideas of observation, touch, and replication. In other words, what is seen, heard, touched, and replicated is the source of scientific knowledge. Nevertheless, even if an experiment can be replicated, it does not necessarily prove anything. It only serves as evidence to support a theory. Unlike mathematics, all scientific knowledge is tentative and provisional, and nothing is final. That is from Harvard University. End of discussion.
Okay, now you can get back to the crux of the argument since you've been running away.
Well, no, this is the crux of the argument. Does science prove? That was the crux of the argument, right?
Why are you talking over me again? I thought you said I could rebut this after you read your pseudoscience.
But you just said to get to the crux. Is the crux of the argument? Is the crux of the argument? Does science prove? Yes or no? Is that the crux of the argument?
Proves hypothesis.
No. Is the crux of the argument? Does science prove? Is that what this is about? Yes or no?
Science proves hypothesis. Correct.
Okay, so read what I've just said and tell me there where it says science proves.
Can you please get back to what we were talking about before you started bringing obfuscation with a pseudoscientific paper? Because
sorry. Harvard University is pseudoscience now, is it?
Did you just understand what you just read there? They put opinion.
No. This is from .edu. This is an educational site from a university.
And you think an educational site means not pseudoscientific?
It's from Harvard University talking about what science is.
Speaking of England.
So you don't care about the citations from scientific institutions.
Okay, Craig. So can we get back to my point?
No, I just want you to say that again. I want you to say that for everybody to hear, that you don't care about the citations from scientific institutions about science. Is that right?
Not if they're pseudoscientific, no. And I'll explain
Right.
to you
So
why
you think that Harvard University is pseudoscience? Wonderful. There we go, guys. So that's what's going to happen. Flatzoid is now going to deny the Harvard University citation by claiming it's pseudoscience. This is going to be fun.
Great. You can send me the link so long so I can get it up. But like I'm saying, so I can go through it word for word and show you why it's pseudoscience. But let's get back to what we were saying before you actually obfuscated to the pseudoscientific paper. So,
I'd just like your evidence that it's pseudo. If you're going to say it's pseudoscience, I would like you to back up the claim it's pseudoscience.
I will. Don't you worry, because you actually read it out. You didn't actually understand what you read. That's
I understood it very well. So specifically, which part of it is pseudoscience then?
Back to the hypothesis we had, Craig.
No, sorry, we're on to the crux of the argument. We're talking about scientific proof and the citations for that. Can you rebut the scientific proof that I've just given?
Please pay attention, Craig.
Can you rebut what I've just given? Or
we had A cause for effect. That's either A or it was B, correct? If we caused A, we saw B. Or if we caused A and we did not see B, then we did not validate it, correct? So you're either proving the A, the hypothesis, or proving B, the null. Which one you're telling me is not proven?
But there's nothing there that said you prove it. Not one word says prove there.
Okay, so you can show me water not boiling when adding heat energy.
I didn't say that. Nice gaslighting.
When you had heat energy to water, are you telling me it's not going to boil?
No, but I can disprove that that's the only cause of it.
Can you always go and redo the actual experiment and always validate that that will always happen?
I can disprove that heat energy is the only cause of water boiling.
You're going against the actual hypothesis. The hypothesis is heat energy transfer causes boil of water. That's it.
Is the hypothesis that it always causes it to boil?
The hypothesis is not disproving or invalidating that hypothesis, because it is always going to stand true.
Unless it's disproved, of course, which it might be in the future.
Okay. Please go and show me water not boiling when adding heat energy.
Didn't say that I can. That's a lovely gaslighting once again.
Just said you can disprove it, so disprove it, please.
I didn't say that I could disprove it. Well, I can disprove that heat energy is the only reason for water boiling. That's easy.
Again, straw man.
It's not a straw man in the slightest. I can disprove that heat energy is the only cause. I didn't create another hypothesis. I said I can disprove.
This is why you ran away, because
I didn't run. I'm here right now.
No matter what you say, you will always get water to boil when adding heat energy. Therefore, the hypothesis is proven. It's validated. It can never change. It is infalsifiable
Wrong.
Because it already
Absolutely
has
wrong. 100%.
It's an empirical method.
Actually,
proven.
It's wrong.
No matter your beliefs.
I can disprove you right now. All right.
No matter what other hypothesis you make, you're just creating another hypothesis.
No, I'm not. I can disprove that heat energy will make water boil. I can disprove that hypothesis right now. Just put it under pressure, and it won't do it.
I know that's a different hypothesis. Remember,
no, it's not.
1 atmospheric pressure, Craig.
Yeah. So your hypothesis is at 1 atmospheric pressure, heat energy will make water boil, right?
Control hypothesis.
Yeah. So if your hypothesis is simply heat energy will make water boil, I can disprove that.
Okay, please put heat energy and show heat energy to water that's not boiling. I'll wait.
Sure, just put it under pressure and it won't happen.
You have to stick to the hypothesis, remember?
Yeah, your
One
hypothesis is what?
Water boiling at 1 atmospheric pressure with heat energy.
Right.
induced.
So your hypothesis is at 1 atmospheric pressure, water will boil if I apply heat energy.
No. Hypothesis. Heat energy causes water to boil. Control.
Disproved.
1 atmospheric. The hypothesis is heat energy causes. That's the constituent. There's only a cause and effect relationship. I've stated my cause.
But I can apply heat energy to water and make it not boil.
Water boils. I have a control to make sure it's controlled, which is 1 atmospheric pressure. That control is not the hypothesis, Craig. It's a constituent of the hypothesis.
Yeah. So I'm saying that I can disprove your hypothesis. Your hypothesis is simply, you've said this several times now, your hypothesis is simply, I apply heat energy to water and water boils. I can disprove that by changing the pressure. Simple as that.
You change the control variable. Then you've gone against the hypothesis, therefore not invalidating it. You've created a new hypothesis.
So do you think that science is correlative?
No, it's empirical.
Right. So all you've got right now is a correlation, right? When the water. Thank you, the rumpus. All you've got right now is a correlation that when the water boils, that does not disprove that in a future experiment that would not happen.
Did I say when, or did I say it will boil?
Yeah, but that doesn't disprove that in a future experiment that wouldn't happen.
Okay, I'm still waiting for you to disprove the hypothesis that water doesn't boil when adding heat energy.
Cool, change the pressure. Done.
The control is 1 atmospheric pressure. Unless you're changing that now, then you're creating a different hypothesis. Therefore, not invalidating.
Wait, so your hypothesis is that at 1 atmospheric pressure, water will boil if I apply heat energy. Right, cool, no worries.
So can you invalidate it?
Maybe in the future. That's the thing. Right now I can't show you that because I might not right at this moment have something that can disprove that. But that doesn't mean that in the future that might not be disproved, because that's what science is. Science is never final.
So you are showing you have an opinion.
No, it's not an opinion. That's science.
Listen to what I'm saying, because remember, science doesn't care about your beliefs.
I don't have any beliefs.
It simply proves the hypothesis or the
No, it doesn't. Science doesn't prove ever. I've given a citation to show that science doesn't prove.
I'm going to explain to you why that's pseudoscientific now.
No. .edu from Harvard is not pseudoscience, no matter what you say.
I need to go through it with you and show you
apparently
why.
you think you know more than all of the people that work at Harvard University.
Wow. Do you think astronomy is science?
Astronomy is definitely science, yes.
There we go. Pseudoscientific, guys. He doesn't
not in the slightest. Just because you don't know what astronomy is and how it's science doesn't mean that it's pseudoscience.
You want to test that out as well, Craig?
Sorry?
Please give me a hypothesis for astronomy.
We're not talking about that right now. That's for another discussion. I can do that with plenty of them.
You just said it's scientific, so back it up.
Okay. We could use the discovery of Neptune. That's pretty easy. That involves astronomy and hypothesis and predictions.
What's your IV?
Right. So you haven't even asked me what my hypothesis was yet, or anything. You haven't even asked me what my observation is to get to the hypothesis. Did you forget about that part of the scientific method, Flatzoid?
You first observe a natural phenomena.
Okay, cool. Right. So so let's go with my observation. My observation is that when watching the orbit of Uranus, it does something weird every now and then that doesn't quite follow the predictive model. That's an observation, right? Agreed?
Okay, and your IV?
No, I haven't made a hypothesis yet.
That's part. It's a halfway there. Come on.
No, I've done an observation. I haven't done a hypothesis yet. So why would I have an IV if I haven't yet made a hypothesis?
Remember, we're setting up a scientific method, so the hypothesis is part of it. So
no, I haven't got to the hypothesis yet. I've only made my observation, which is step 1. I haven't told you my hypothesis yet.
No, that's what I'm asking. What's your IV?
But I haven't told you my hypothesis, so how would I tell you what my IV is?
You said it's doing weird things, so you've observed.
Yes.
You've observed something happening.
Yeah, there's my that's my observation. That's not my hypothesis. That's an observation.
Okay, then move on to your hypothesis, please.
Right. So my hypothesis is that there is a large body causing a gravitational disturbance at a certain point, and that as Uranus gets closer to that gravitational point, it will alter the mechanics of its orbit. The IV would be the position in the sky. The DV would be the change in Uranus's orbit.
That's not enough. How are you going to manipulate the IV?
By looking at a different place.
No, but sorry, it's moving all the time.
Yeah,
how are
yeah.
you manipulating it? Sorry,
So you observe
manipulating
it in different places, and that is manipulating the position in the sky.
No, it's not. You're just doing another observation.
Yes, yeah. You are manipulating the position in the sky that this is happening, that you are observing it happening, right? So this point, it's happening here, and then this point is happening here. That's manipulated the position of what you are watching, and that's the IV, the position in the sky that it is. The DV is the change in Uranus's orbit.
Sorry to tell you, that's not manipulating.
I mean, science disagrees with you, of course.
This is the same as me going to a mountain, let's say a volcano, and I see it is active. Now I say, I observe the volcano is active. My IV is saying, if I'm down on the bottom of the mountain, I cannot see inside the lava. Therefore, if I see lava shoot out, I have altered something that will validate the
no, that's nothing like what I said, because that's not what my cause and effect is.
Which you just did with Neptune's.
No, because this is my cause and effect. The cause is the position of Uranus's orbit, all right? So, wait. The cause, right, of what's happening is the position of Uranus's orbit. And the effect is the movement of that orbit.
So
it's the IV and the DV, right? And you don't, here's the thing that you guys don't understand about science. You don't have to physically go and touch things yourself to manipulate them. The manipulation can simply be the change in parameters. That's it.
Pseudoscience, everybody, you just heard it.
Yes. No. This is what science says. This is literally what science says. Actual science. There is no physical. You don't have to physically manipulate. The manipulation can be simply a change in parameters. That can be your cause.
So, what is the cause? The orbiting, or the position, or the perspective viewed to it, or the time
Sorry, say that again.
Viewed, or you know that how much?
No, say that. I didn't quite catch what you said. Could you say that again?
Okay. Which cause is it exactly? Because you stated quite a few. What is the actual cause for your effect observed?
Well, I specifically said that my hypothesis was that there's a large body creating a gravitational acceleration.
That's more than one IV.
No, that
is it the large body? Is it a large body, or is it gravitation, or is it position? Which one?
Again, my hypothesis is that there is a large body causing a gravitational disturbance, altering the orbit of Uranus. The IV is the position of Uranus within its orbit. The DV is the change in Uranus's orbit.
You just said large body. Now it's the position. And then you said it was...
Yes, I've just given you my hypothesis is that there is a large gravitational body disturbing the orbit of Uranus. My independent variable is the position of Uranus within its orbit. My dependent variable is the change in Uranus's orbit. IV, the thing that has changed. DV, the thing that has responded to the change.
Sorry, what did you change exactly, or did you just observe something again?
Again, in science, you don't have to physically manipulate things yourself.
You made a hypothesis or not, would that still happen even if you just observed it? Would it still happen even if you did nothing? You just watched it again. Would it still happen?
Probably. That's what we're trying to find out why.
But
my hypothesis, I've got a hypothesis as to why it is happening. Right. I don't know why this is so hard for you. The observation is that Uranus's orbit changes, right, when it looks like it shouldn't. Let me just talk you through it again, because I know that this is hard for you. Okay. Observation. You watch Uranus in the sky. The orbit does something weird. That's strange. My hypothesis. Well, I think there could be a large body creating a gravitational disturbance that is altering the apparent orbit of Uranus. How? What would be something that changes in this to see if I can test that? Well, Uranus's orbit, whilst it's doing this bit of the orbit, it doesn't change. But when it's doing this bit of the orbit, it does change. So the position of Uranus within its orbit is the independent variable, and the apparent change of Uranus's orbit is the dependent variable. I don't care if you don't accept that. That is a hypothesis. Now, the prediction would be the next part, right?
You said the large body is the IV. Now its position. Which one is it?
I didn't say the large body is the IV.
The large body's got nothing to do with it. It's its position then.
My hypothesis is that there's a large body disturbing the orbit of Uranus. And the independent variable to check if this is happening, if there is a cause-effect relationship, is the position of Uranus within its orbit. Whether it's close to that large gravitational disturbance or not. The dependent variable would be how much Uranus moves, right? That's an IV and a DV. So the next step is to make a prediction. So here's what I do with my prediction. I go, right, well, if my hypothesis says that there is a large gravitational body, and within Uranus's orbit, when it approaches that gravitational body, it's going to change. That means that if I predict at this time, at this date, I look in this position of the sky, I will find a planet. That is the prediction. And the experiment, this is a very, very simple experiment, is looking in the sky to see if it's there. Done.
Sorry, again.
I know, I accept your apology. Don't worry, I accept your apology.
You're not getting it. Large body accelerates because of a belief of gravitational acceleration. Okay.
No, that was my hypothesis, not a belief.
I'm still busy talking. That already...
Yeah, please don't gaslight me.
No. That already shows correlation and a scientific, a pseudoscientific religion.
No, I had an IV and a DV. Please don't gaslight me. Please don't gaslight me, because I had an IV and a DV, just like science says that I do. This is a natural experiment, so the IV is being changed by nature.
I know this is hard for you to accept, but
it's not. Right, what you're not allowed to do is gaslight me. Okay.
Your large body, which is correlative based on gravitational acceleration, would have a change in position to something you have observed. Therefore, I observed this happening, correlative, aka I affirm the consequent. You
wait, you think the scientific method is affirming the consequent?
Sorry to tell you this, Craig, but you didn't.
Do you think that the scientific method is affirming the consequent? Seriously, is that what you just said? You just said that the scientific method is affirming the consequent. Everyone heard it, right? Everybody heard Flatzoid say that the scientific method is affirming the consequent.
Why are you misrepresenting me, Craig?
That's just what you said.
You just didn't get there wasn't a hypothesis you just gave.
I just gave you a hypothesis. Whether you think it's a hypothesis or not doesn't change the fact that it's a hypothesis.
You don't even have one IV there. You cannot pinpoint one IV.
I do. My IV as to why it is changing position is how close it is to this gravitational disturbance.
So you can take it away further from the gravitational disturbance. That's what you're telling me. So you can manipulate.
I can observe it at a different point in its orbit. Yeah.
Let's just make another observation. That's not manipulating anything.
Yeah. Manipulating simply means to change the parameters.
So did you change parameters, or did you just observe?
Yeah, I changed the parameters by looking at it at a different point in the sky. Yeah.
So you made a correlation based.
No, I didn't make any correlation. I made a hypothesis. You do understand that a hypothesis is an assumption, right?
That is not a hypothesis. That was
No. Wait. You do understand that a hypothesis is an assumption, right? You do understand that, yeah?
Yes, but you require manipulation of the IV, which you
Cool,
didn't
yeah,
do.
so my IV is the position of Uranus in the sky during its orbit. I can manipulate that by weighting.
By weighting. So weighting actually goes and manipulates a position.
Well, if I weight, has the position changed? Yes or no?
Yes, but even if you
There
don't
we
weight,
go,
it's
thank
still
you.
going-
Brilliant. The position has changed whilst I was waiting, therefore it has been manipulated by weighting. Brilliant. That's all we need.
Let's do it this way. Let's say I didn't wait. Would it still change?
My hypothesis isn't about me not waiting.
Oh, so it can still change even though
Oh,
you
yeah,
didn't have many-
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
All right, so is water going to boil even without you doing it?
If it adds heat energy, because that's the hypothesis still going to happen.
Right. So
Strong.
my thing can happen on its own, but yours can't.
In nature, you see water boiling with heat energy, aka hot springs. Uh-oh.
Yeah, so you can wait to see if they boil, right?
No, I don't wait to see if they boil. I can literally go and do an experiment physically, manipulating.
Oh, you
To
can
see-
manipulate the hot springs, can you? How can you manipulate the hot springs?
No. You can see. What is your observation? I see water boiling when heat energy is transferred, aka a hot spring. I go to my laboratory, I take a container, I put water in, I add heat energy, it's boiling. What did I do? I validated my hypothesis based on the natural observation I did. I physically manipulated the IV. You
Yeah.
do
So
this with what you
my manipulation is just as valid just by waiting. That also manipulates things. It manipulates the
Waiting
parameters
doesn't-
within it. But look, it manipulates the parameters within the experiment. That's all you need to do.
What experiment? You're observing something again.
Well, yeah, and an observation can be an experiment. You know that, right?
Of observation can be experiment. Okay, go give me one example.
My prediction, like I said, would be that if I look at a specific place in the sky at a specific time and a place, then I will
Experiment.
find a planet. My experiment, based on my prediction, would be to look at that place I have predicted.
So correlation based, then it's not experiment, it's not science. Then
No,
it's
that is
pseudoscience.
absolutely an experiment. My prediction was that if I look here, it's going to be there. I experimented by looking to see if it was there, and it was.
Okay, let's do it this way. I wake up, I see sun rising. Therefore, my hypothesis is I wait till the next day. If sun rises, I therefore have validated my hypothesis that the sun is physically rising. I see the next day, it's physically rising. Is that correlation, is it just correlative, or is it actually science? Because I just waited for it to happen again.
Yeah, so what would your prediction from your hypothesis be?
I waited. Therefore, sunrise.
No. So your prediction would be that you wait until the next day and to see if the sun rises. Yeah, so
If I
then
wait
your
till not-
experiment is that you wait till the next day and the sun rises. Yeah, well done. You've
Experiment.
you didn't,
What did
you
I
didn't
manipulate?
disprove. You waited.
That was just.
Yeah.
You understand it's correlative.
No, that's
Okay.
that's your manipulation. That is the changing of your parameters. Wait, are you?
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Are you trying to tell me that time can't be an IV?
It could definitely not. You know, time is just.
You know that time is
I know.
literally always, well, not the majority of the time when time's in an experiment, it is the IV.
Okay, give me a hypothesis where time is an IV, please.
Oh, this is one that I do all the time. So, I observe that I like tea when it's a certain strength, right? So I hypothesize that if I
don't know if that's down. Yeah, Kieran?
you gonna let me talk? All right, brilliant. So I hypothesize that the longer I leave a tea bag in my cup, the stronger it's going to be. Right? So my prediction would be that if I left it for a longer amount of time, the brew would be stronger. Right? So then I do an experiment, and I have 5 cups of tea. And in each of the cups of tea, the only thing I change is the amount of time that the tea bag has been in the cup. I have done an experiment manipulating the time on how much it is brewing. The only thing I changed in each of the experiments was how long the tea bag stayed in the cup. So that means that time was the independent variable, and the dependent variable would be how strong the tea was.
Okay, let's put it this way. Did you put a tea bag in the cup?
Yeah.
If you didn't put the tea bag in the cup, would the tea get stronger?
No, because there's no tea bag in the cup.
Great. So, do you understand duration of time? That's because you're given it duration. It's only a control. It's not an independent.
No, that's literally an independent variable. That's the thing that I've changed. But my experiment, as I said, my experiment was 5 cups of tea, right? The tea bag has gone into all 5 cups of tea. The only thing I change is the amount of time the tea bag is in the cups. The independent variable in that case is the time. The dependent variable is how strong it is. The control variable would be the fact that there's a tea bag in the cup. Because that's not changing. That's not changing in any of them. That's the same, right? The only thing that changed is the amount of time that the tea bag was in the cup. That's the manipulation. How much time?
Okay. How did you manipulate time physically, or did you just have a control of duration?
No, my control was the tea bag being in the cup. My independent variable was the amount of time.
Did you change the duration of time, or did you change time?
The duration of time. That is what it is. That's what we mean by time in an experiment, is how much time had passed.
Can you go back in time to when we started the debate and manipulate it, please?
That's a gaslight, because I never said I can travel through time. I said I can manipulate the amount of time in an experiment. You love gaslighting, don't you?
Is duration of time the same as manipulating time?
Yes, I have manipulated the duration of time in the experiment.
So, duration, you cannot get back. You can only keep having further durations.
Yeah, so let me ask you, right? But maybe it help if you answer the question. The 5 cups of tea, right? The first cup of tea, I leave the tea bag in for 20 seconds. The second one for 25. The third one for 30. The fourth one for 35. And the fifth one, because I'm a psychopath, I left it in for 10 minutes. What is the only thing that I have changed in this experiment?
The control, the duration of time.
Right, so you're saying my independent variable is my control? That's not right. My control is the fact there is a tea bag. A tea bag, the same tea bag, that's not changed. The control can't be something that changes. The time changes, therefore it can't be a control. The time is manipulated. 25 seconds, 30 seconds, 35 seconds, 40 seconds, 10 minutes, because I'm a psychopath. That is the manipulation.
Can you change the intensity of the tea without having a tea bag in it?
No. That's my control variable, having a tea bag in.
I mean, there's your IV. It's a tea bag.
No. Mike, to find out the strength, to get the different amount of strengths, the control is the tea bag, because I've not changed that. That's been exactly the same. The only thing I changed was the amount of time the tea bag was in each cup. If something changes, it cannot be a control. Right, Flatzoid, let's listen. If something changes, it cannot be a control. The point of a control is it does not change. Therefore, the duration of time cannot be a control.
Duration of time cannot be a control.
No.
That's exactly what a control is, because you're giving...
Sorry, no. Controls are something that don't change. Did the duration of time change, yes or no?
This is how your hypothesis is supposed to be.
Wait, no, I just asked the question, right? Did the duration of time change, yes or no?
Yes, the control
Right.
changed.
No, sorry, the controls can't change. The control has to stay the same. That's the point of it being a control.
You define different experiments
What?
with different controls.
No. Again, the control has to stay the same, otherwise it's not a control.
You are putting IV. Your time is always a control variable. Doesn't
No,
matter where
it's
you
not.
go.
The time is usually an IV. And
No,
again,
time
a
can-
control cannot be something that changes, Flatzoid. Do you agree with me that a control cannot change? A control has to be the same from one experiment to the next. Do you agree with that?
If you put it that way, yes.
Yes, because that's what a control is. A control is something that stays the same, exactly the same, from one experiment to the next, right? So that's not the IV, right? The tea bag is the thing that has stayed the same. The fact that there is one tea bag being put in each cup is the control. The only thing that changes in the experiment, the one thing that changes in the experiment, is the duration of time that that tea bag has spent in the cup. Therefore, because that is the thing that has changed, that is the thing that has caused the dependent variable being the strength of the tea.
Thermodynamics just debunked that. What
Sorry,
happens
thermodynamics debunked a tea.
What happens with the duration of time? Heat energy dissipates. So, would that now be the cause why it's getting stronger, or is it still just your duration of time?
Yeah, I'm not changing the heat energy. I am changing the amount of time.
So heat energy doesn't change with
No,
time.
I'm not manipulating the heat energy. I am manipulating the amount of time in each cup.
How did you keep that heat energy constant in the experiment, Greg?
All 5 of the cups, the heat energy is going to dissipate at the same speed. All right?
Are you sure
but
about
my hypothesis was the amount of time that they're spent in there. Just like your hypothesis was just like your hypothesis was to do with some, water boiling at 1 atmospheric pressure, whereas I can say I can change the pressure and stuff. But you're trying to do exactly the same thing to me. The only thing that I have changed in the experiment, the only thing that I have manipulated, is the amount of time that that tea bag has spent in the cup. And I can say that for 20 seconds, it is this strong. For 30 seconds, it is this strong. For 40 seconds, it is this strong. For 50 seconds, it is this strong. Right? Whilst that is happening, wait, let me finish. Whilst that is happening, of course, thermodynamics says that the cups will be cooling down. Of course they will. Heat energy is going to be dissipating. That is something that is also a control in all of it, because heat energy is dissipating all of the time. The only thing that I am changing is the amount of time the tea bag has spent in those cups. That's it.
Sorry, but does the first cup that's, let's say, set for 5 minutes, have the same amount of dissipation compared to the one sitting at 10 minutes?
Over time, yes, it will.
Sorry,
right? But regardless of the heat energy, right? Regardless of the heat energy, the fact that I have left the tea bags in the tea for longer has made them stronger, and that's my experiment. My experiment is to see if I leave a tea bag in it longer, it gets stronger, and it does.
Okay.
Right? My IV was time, and my DV was the strength. That's it.
Okay. I'll debunk this again as well, because I've been trying to talk. Now, literally, I'm saying the one aspect is the heat energy transference from the 5 minutes to 10 minutes would not be the same, because the one will dissipate more. Secondly, what happens if you squeeze that tea bag or just stir
I
the
didn't
cup?
say I'm squeezing it. I'm not doing it. You're adding extra things to my experiment. I didn't put those in the experiment.
Does it get stronger or not, Greg?
Yeah, that's not my experiment. My experiment is to simply see if you leave it for longer, it gets stronger. Yeah, that's not my experiment. That's not my experiment. My experiment is to... again, that's not my... Flatzoid. Flatzoid, stop. Flatzoid, stop. Flatzoid, stop. Flatzoid, stop.
You know why?
You can't disprove my IV when...
No matter the duration of time. I can stir the tea. I can squeeze the
right?
tea
Yeah,
bag.
those are different hypotheses, right? Those are right. Stop 1 sec. Those are different hypotheses. Your hypothesis in that case is that if you squeeze the tea bag, it makes it stronger. That's a different test. My test is simply the time. That's it. Right? If you leave the tea bag longer without touching it, the tea gets stronger. Yes?
That's correlative. That's not science.
Sorry, that's my IV. My IV is time, and my DV is the amount of strength. Is it true that if I leave the tea bag longer without touching it, the tea gets stronger? Is that true? Yes or no?
Anything physical.
Is that true? Yes or no?
Based on factors that I just made you disprove.
Okay, so I make my wife at least, right, listen, I make my wife at least 10 cups of tea a day. Right, Flatzoid, hold on, 1 second. Listen, I make my wife about 10 cups of tea a day, and I know for a fact the exact amount of time that tea bag has to be in that tea, right? Regardless of what anything else is happening, right? I know the exact amount of time that my wife needs that tea bag to be in that tea to make it appropriate for her to drink. If I leave it too long, it's too strong. If I don't leave it long enough, it's not strong enough. All right?
Okay.
I am not squeezing it. That's not what I'm saying. That's not my experiment. I'm not stirring it. That's not my experiment. My experiment is simply to see if I leave the tea bag in the tea longer, will it be stronger? And the answer is yes.
Okay, what happens if you use cold water, Craig? Will the tea bag require the same amount of time?
Okay, so if I use cold water, right, it will still be the case that the longer the tea bag is in the tea, the stronger it is.
No, but I'm sorry, did you just not say that you have a special time for your wife? Let's just say, for instance, say it's 45 seconds, but I mean, who's so psychotic to sit there and actually count 45 seconds for a tea bag? Would you
you don't count? Sorry. Are you married? Just are you married? You are married. Do you make your wife tea?
Yes, and coffee a lot.
And you don't count how long that tea's in that tea bag?
No, because I'm not psychotic. I don't.
Do you want to get divorced? Dude, you need to sort your tea making out. Seriously. Sorry.
Squeeze the tea bag to make it stronger. The hotter the water, the quicker.
Yeah. So, you know, right, here's the thing. So, science testing is all about correlation, though. You know that, right?
You know, heat energy is physical, Craig.
Yeah, but I'm not manipulating the heat energy. The only thing I've changed is the amount of time in each of those tea bags, right?
False. The one that's sitting for 10 minutes has dissipated a lot more heat energy. Therefore, it's much colder than the one that sit for 5 minutes.
And did I leave it for longer? Yes or no?
How did you keep all the temperatures constant, Craig? How did you keep all of them, all the heat energy keeping at a constant?
I didn't, but the dissipation of heat, thermal dissipation is a constant.
Controlled.
Thermal dissipation is a constant.
No, that's not. Because they have different constants to each other.
So 5 exactly same cups, 5 exactly same amounts of water, 5 exactly same tea bags, 5 exactly same perfectly level spoons of sugar. The dissipation of heat energy in each of those cups will be happening at the same rate, right? But that's not my test. My test is to see if I leave it for longer, does it get stronger? And here's the thing about science testing. It is correlative because you're trying to get the cause and effect relationship, right? There's a correlation there. Do you agree with that? Do you agree? All right, hold on. Do you agree that there's a correlation between the cause and effect?
You just proved my point.
No, wait, sorry, I'm asking you a question. Do you agree that there is a... Sorry, I'm asking a specific question. Do you agree that there is a correlation between the cause and effect in an experiment?
No.
Sorry, so there is no correlation between the cause and an effect?
No, there's no such thing as correlative behavior with an empirical method.
Sorry, I just want to ask you again that to make sure. Are you saying that in an experiment there is no correlation between the cause and effect?
It's either validated or disproven. There's no correlation between it. Correlation, you know what correlation means?
Yeah, I don't think you do. I want you to say this once more because I need this for a clip for your Flerfs are Idiots video. Could you say that to me, like specifically? Could you say the words, there is no correlation between cause and effect in an experiment? Could you say that for me?
Experiment, no, because it's either validated or disproven.
All right, no, I want you to say those exact words. Could you just do me that favor, please, and say, in an experiment, there is no correlation between cause and effect. Go on.
Scientific method does not deal with correlation. You trying to storm and already hearing what I say is just dishonest, Craig, because you're trying to obfuscate from the fact you just use those signs.
I'm not. You just told me straight up, and you just told the 500 odd people watching on my stream that there is no correlation between the cause and effect relationship in science. So according to you, the cause has nothing to do with the effect.
Please get the definition of correlation, Craig. Please bring it up. That's what correlation means.
So I don't need to, as anyone can just get correlation up themselves.
Correlation.
Oh, I know, Rumpus. It's fucking hilarious, right?
And this is what happens when the guy gets demolished.
There's no guys. Apparently, the IV has nothing to do with the DV. They're not correlated at all.
Sorry. Look. A mutual relationship connection between two or more things. Sorry, what two things are there or more things with experiment? That have
IV and DV?
No, that's one. That's not two.
Oh, sorry, IV and DV are just one thing. Did you just say that?
No.
Because I just said the IV and the DV, and you said, no, that's one thing. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm going to I'm going to concede there.
You're going to concede?
But science is not correlation based though.
There's a lot of correlation in science and testing because there has to be. That's the entire point of you testing Flatzoid, is to find a correlation between a cause and an effect.
Are you saying science is correlative then?
I'm saying that correlation is part of experimentation because you are trying to find the link between a cause and an effect. They are correlated with each other.
Nah.
You just agreed with that though.
If you're saying it's correlative, you are simply begging the question and affirming the consequent. And science doesn't do that.
Well, no, science absolutely deals in assumptions. It has to.
Yeah, but you're actually empirically validating the cause for that assumption.
Yeah.
You're not...
By finding a correlation between the IV and the DV.
You have to go and manipulate it to do that.
Yeah, so I can manipulate the time, I can manipulate the position, both by waiting, you know.
How are you manipulating the position by waiting? Even if you did, it's still going to move. Even if you're sleeping, it's still going to move. You're not waiting, it's still going to move.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't need to physically do it. Just me waiting has manipulated the parameters within the hypothesis or the experiment.
That's relative what you're doing. You're affirming the consequence based on begging the question.
No. The scientific method is absolutely requiring you to make assumptions. That's not begging the question, that's making an assumption, which you absolutely have to do in science.
Sorry. What did you mean? Let's put it this way. If a bird flies overhead here, let's say a bird flies now. I saw it, it was at 9 o'clock a.m. Tomorrow I stand outside, I see it flies across again. Wednesday, I see it's going to happen again, and I see this happening for a week or two, and I said, okay, I'm going to make a hypothesis now. Tomorrow the birds come and fly over the exact same time because the last 2 weeks I saw that bird fly over exactly the same time.
Okay.
I come tomorrow, and I saw the bird fly over the exact same time. Did I now beg the question, affirm the consequent? But
no, you didn't. You made a prediction, and then you verified that prediction. But that doesn't mean that in the future that couldn't be overthrown.
What I'm saying. Later I find out by Jim, who sat next to me, says, you do know that's not the same bird. if you look properly, you'll
Oh,
see
you said
this
it was the
one.
same bird, though.
According to me, it looks like the same bird. Anyway.
Oh, well, if it's not the same bird, then it's not the same,
was
is it?
that correlative, or was that empirical based on science?
Well, it was neither. It wasn't the same bird. You made an error.
Ah, just like you saying, I see the moving because my belief of a orbit.
No, I don't have a belief we can watch orbits happen.
What's an orbit?
An orbit is something caught in a gravitational well of another body.
And this has been scientifically validated how?
I mean, we send satellites into orbit all the time.
I first said, what is an orbit? Now you're trying to bring satellites into Narnia. I want you to tell me how you
satellites are
validate-
in orbit. We've scientifically validated orbits exist by experimenting by putting satellites in orbit.
Okay, give me the IV for putting satellites in orbit to validate orbits, please.
Is the satellite in the sky or is it not?
No, that's not what I asked. You said it's science, so do the science of saying satellite in orbit, therefore validating orbit.
So my hypothesis would be that orbits exist, right? Are we saying that's my hypothesis? Yeah.
Did you say so?
Okay. So my prediction would be that if I sent a satellite up at a predictable way, with a tangential speed of x at altitude of x, that it will orbit the planet. I then do the experiment, and lo and behold, it orbits the planet.
So correlative then, not empirical.
Okay, again, science correlates between cause and effect. You can only show a correlation. You can never prove anything.
Sorry, what did you manipulate there to get that desired result?
Whether the rocket was... well, okay, so we could say that there's two things, right? We could send the rocket straight up, or we could send the rocket on a parabolic trajectory to go into orbit, all right?
The problem is, your
No, I'm trying to design an experiment here, right? I'm designing an experiment, okay? So my
hypothesis isn't... Your hypothesis is orbit, correct?
Yeah.
So you have to manipulate orbit. You're not manipulating orbit. You putting
No,
something.
you don't. My hypothesis is that satellites can orbit the Earth, right?
No.
Or is my hypothesis just that orbits are a thing?
You're proving orbits, not.
You don't prove anything in science. We've gone through that.
Well, validate for you pseudoscientists.
There's no proof in science. We did go through that.
Means. It's the actual definition of it. Empirical means to prove. Validation means to
no,
prove.
empirical doesn't mean to prove. Do we need to go through the right? So
anyway, like I'm saying,
we did right. We did one. We did what we did Harvard. So how about we do Oregon State University, or what else we got? We've got we've got Scientific American. That's not really .edu. We've got Oregon State.edu.
Right. IV is orbit. How did you manipulate orbit to prove the effect?
Well, I haven't really told you what my hypothesis is. You've just demanded a hypothesis IV on me. I haven't really made a hypothesis, so I haven't really got an IV for you.
Are you going to prove?
So what? Right. Let's start at the beginning, because you seem to be skipping some bits. What would my observation be?
I know it's yours. You tell me.
Well, no, you're the one that's forced this on me. So what's my observation?
You want to claim orbits exist. You see planets orbiting, so you need to figure out a cause for the orbiting.
Gravity is the cause for the orbiting, and tangential velocity.
Gravity is your ID then. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I mean we still haven't got an observation and a hypothesis here. You're skipping bits.
You just said gravity is the cause for the orbiting. Those were your words.
Gravity is why things orbit. Yeah, but what? Right. Let's start. Right. What is my observation? Is my observation planets going through the sky? Is my observation satellites? What's my observation to start this?
It's your hypothesis. You must tell
No, no,
me.
no, no, it's
say-
not. You're the one that's forced this on me, so you
You
need to
trying
tell me
to
what my
validate
observation
something.
is.
You trying to validate orbiting. So it's up to you to tell me how you're going to validate orbiting using science.
So what's my observation? So
You're the one
if
who's
we're
trying
using
to
the
prove, not
scientific
me.
method, which is what you've said I have to do, what is my observation?
I don't know. I'm not saying orbiting is real. You're saying it's real. So you're the one that's supposed to prove it. If you can't even set up a hypothesis for it, you cannot tell me it's valid science.
Well, I've done the whole Venus, sorry, not Venus, I've done the whole Uranus-Neptune thing. That kind of showed the orbits are a thing. I'm not sure what you want my hypothesis to be here. You want my hypothesis to be orbits are a thing. Is that right?
Okay, if you want to orbits are a thing, okay.
All right.
So
So
what do you observe? How do you observe orbits?
by watching something,
What are you watching?
if it's orbiting, if it's going in a predictable path, matching the predictions of an orbit.
Okay, and now you're going to set a hypothesis for this?
What would you want the hypothesis to be? This is your thing, so you tell me the hypothesis.
You are proving, you're the one trying to prove orbiting, not me.
Again,
So
I'm not
please
trying to
set
prove anything because science doesn't prove anything. So I'm not trying to prove anything.
a hypothesis so we can validate it, please.
Okay, so again, what do you want the hypothesis to be?
It's not my burden of proof. You are trying to show that orbits exist. Not me, you.
Okay, right. So my hypothesis would be that different altitudes and okay, my hypothesis would be at a different tangential velocity, an object would orbit the Earth. So my independent variable would be the tangential velocity of something, and the dependent variable would be if it is orbiting the Earth.
Okay,
Because we can manipulate the tangential velocity of something, can't we?
can you manipulate the tangential velocity of something orbiting? So you
Yeah.
already.
Yeah,
You put
you
orbit-
can put
yeah, you-
thrusters and stuff on things. That's a thing that exists.
You understand? You already got orbiting pre-prescribed before you even proved it.
No, I'm saying that my hypothesis is that if orbits are real, then we will be able to see a predictable path.
What is tangential velocity? Does that require orbiting?
Tangential velocity is a straight line path, and it's why things orbit.
Oh, so it's already saying it's orbiting.
No, a tangential velocity is what causes something to orbit when it's under gravitational acceleration.
Oh, so it's not tangential, it's now gravitational acceleration. That's your idea.
Well, gravitational acceleration would be a control variable.
Okay, so it's not tangential, now it's gravitational.
That's a control variable.
How is gravitational acceleration a control variable? How are you going to manipulate?
Because on Earth, the gravitational acceleration is the same. That's not going to change.
Is that so? So
Yeah.
it doesn't change different latitudes. Is that what you're telling me?
But the gravitational acceleration is roughly 9.8 all over the world. It changes very slightly by like 0.5% from the equator to the poles. But we're going to say that it's roughly 9.8 meters per second squared, and that's the control variable that something is, under on Earth.
So controls can change then.
The control variable is approximately 9.8 meters per second squared.
Do you understand the problem yet? That you're saying
No.
the control variable can change? Because
No,
what
I'm not
happens
saying
when
it's
you
changing.
change-
So
what happens when you
at a
change
particular
altitude?
place, right, at my latitude, the gravitational acceleration isn't going to change, right? So we're not changing the latitude. We're at one latitude, and the gravitational acceleration at latitude is a specific acceleration.
Okay, so do you have the same gravitational acceleration at the same altitudes across that same latitude?
The gravitational acceleration would reduce slightly as you go.
So it
Well, no,
changes-
the gravitational acceleration, the force changes based on the gravitational acceleration. So
So your control has changed again, even at the same latitude then?
So the control variable is the acceleration towards Earth that you are under.
But it changes. So it
Yeah.
cannot be a control. It changes all the time.
The fact that that acceleration is there never changes.
You just said, in your own words, it changes with altitude.
Again, but the fact the acceleration is there never changes. It's always there. It's always approximately 9.8 meters per second squared. Right?
We all know gravity is not a force, so you cannot add acceleration.
I never said it was a force. It creates a force.
That's all I wanted to ask you, but we'll get to that now. If you're having that as your control and it changes, therefore you cannot use it as a control.
Yeah.
You cannot,
so, to be honest, I mean, you're not completely right. A control variable actually can kind of change, but you have to deal with it within your methodology.
No, because a control stays.
Well, according to citations, you're wrong, of course.
A control variable always stays constant. That's what a control variable is.
Well,
right?
Actually, as long as you adjust for it within your methodology, and it has the parameters that are staying the same, it's not exactly true.
You know why I'm saying pseudoscience? Because a control
because you don't understand what science is. I know that. Anyway, so this whole thing has been about whether science proves or not, right? And you still haven't shown me a citation that says that science proves.
I did show you one, and then you laughed and said it's not a university.
Oh yeah, no. What you showed me was a random article. When you show a citation, it needs to be from an educational source, not just a random internet article.
I just want to show something to everybody, because remember, Craig just made a thing that you can change a control variable. A control variable is a variable in any variable that's held constant in a research study. Therefore, it has to stay constant. It's controlled.
Yeah, within your methodology. If the relationship between the control variable and the other things stay the same, then that's the control variable. I mean, like in thermodynamics, for instance, things are always changing. How do you control something in an experiment regarding thermodynamics? Are you claiming that thermodynamics is something you can't do science on? Because there is nothing that stays the same in thermodynamics.
That's already, I never said that. I'm simply stating that you said a control variable can change. But we all know control variables always hold constant.
Yeah, within the methodology, of course.
That link yet for that citation for Harvard or something, so I can go through it with you and show you why it's pseudoscientific.
So I just want you to confirm to me. All right, I'm going to send you that link right now. But you think that you know more than the scientists at Harvard. Is that right?
I say I know when something is pseudoscientific or science.
So you think that the people at Harvard University. So I just want to clarify that you think that the people at Harvard University writing a scientific thing are doing pseudoscience. The people that actually, teach the science and educate people on the science. You think they're the ones doing pseudoscience. So the way that you're going to get around this citation is by you claiming that it's pseudoscience. Is that right?
I'm going to show you how it's pseudoscience. Just send me the thing so I can read it.
I already have done.
Okay, have you sent it to me?
I have, yes.
I'm going to quickly open it. Oh wait, this is actually one I had open already. Can you believe it? I was actually going to present this as my pseudoscientific paper, guys. Let me see if I'm showing. Okay, I'm showing screen. I was going to show that. I think it was.
So what is pseudoscience? Can you tell me what pseudoscience is?
Yes, it's when you have a belief system and masquerading it as science.
No, the pseudoscience is something that doesn't follow the scientific method. That's what pseudoscience is.
I'll have to type it out. Pseudoscience, people. A system of theories, assumptions, and methods erroneously regarded as scientific.
Yeah.
So it's a belief masquerading as science. Really weird. Okay, anyway. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Okay, let's read through it.
I mean, that's the one that Nathan always puts up, right? Nathan always puts up that the difference between science and pseudoscience is the scientific method. Isn't that what Nathan Oakley and Sleeping Warrior always show?
I don't know. Okay, let's go on to scientific proof. This is from your WordPress, Harvard, Edu. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
here's the meaning that led the public to believe we read that all. Erroneous notions regarding science through its endless streams of faulty publications. First of all, science has nothing to do with publications. The peer review is consensus, therefore already going against science. Those misconceptions in turn have discredited science in its entirety and inspired a culture of doubt. Sorry, what has a person's opinion got to do with science then? I thought science was, I keep getting confused as objective or
Yeah, there's
subjective.
no opinions here. This is just telling you what's happened.
Notions regarding these endless streams of faulty publications. How do you have a faulty publication without having a belief system?
Because it doesn't follow science.
Inspired a culture. That kind of sounds to me like opinions and beliefs. Anyway.
Well, no, it's showing that it inspired a cult because people come along and say things like science has proof. But again, this is from .edu site. So you are claiming that Harvard University is pseudoscience. Well, so far nothing here is pseudoscience.
This is also a contradictory statement, guys. There is no such thing as proof in science. Only scientific evidence. What is evidence again? Oh, wait, I showed you guys that.
Yeah, not proof. It's evidence, not proof.
Empirical evidence. This
Evidence
is from
isn't proof. Evidence is evidence.
Lifescience.com. Okay.
So not a .edu site or anything.
Are you telling me lifescience.com is now not a proper scientific site?
It's not a scientific site. It's just like an article website. It's not a .edu site.
It's amazing how you can be very cherry picky when you want to have
No,
something.
I always say that citations need to come from .edu sites. So do you have citations from .edu? You know, actual educational sites, universities, instead of just this is the article. What you're showing there is the kind of thing that Harvard article was talking about.
Okay, but like I'm saying, we're going through this Harvard to show why it's scientific first. Then we'll get there, okay? So, already they are showing beliefs and what people's opinions are and publications. None of those are scientific to start off with.
Yeah, that's what it's saying. It's saying that the opinion pieces that people put out aren't scientific. That's what it's saying.
Then they have contradictory statements like science doesn't prove.
Because it doesn't, because there's no such thing as scientific proof. It's telling you it there.
Stop talking over me. But the meaning of evidence means to prove.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It means provide evidence for.
Therefore, it is however distinction made between
oh, look at that! Oh my God! Oh my God! There is a distinction to be made between. No! Stop! Read the first line. Read the first line to me. No, go on. Read the first line, Flatzoid. Don't do it. Don't do it, Flatzoid. Read the first line to me. Read the very first line to me.
Stop cherry picking. Can I finish?
No. You're cherry picking right now. I would like you to read. Right, read it then. Read it and listen to what it fucking says.
This is, however, a distinction to be made between evidence and proof. Okay?
Yeah.
This means you stop misrepresenting. Evidence is a data or facts that assists us in determining the reality of existence of something. A total collection of evidence can prove a claim.
Yeah, okay, so where's the total collection of evidence? That's the thing. There is never a total collection of evidence because new evidence can always be presented.
I am busy. Why are you talking over me? Is a conclusion that a certain fact is true or not.
This is brilliant how you just debunked yourself. Right, now let me speak because you literally just debunked yourself so fucking hard. So hard. A total collection of evidence can prove a claim. Science never claims to have a total collection of evidence. Ever.
Okay, let's go back to the water boiling hypothesis. Did I prove or not prove that water will boil when adding heat energy?
You provided evidence for it, but it could be disproved. The thing is, it could be disproved. Listen, no, let me answer the question. Let me answer the question. It can be disproved later on because nothing in science is ever final.
You want to take a bet on that?
Yes, I do, because my Harvard citation wins the bet.
Quickly disprove that water boils without heat energy. I mean, please quickly disprove my hypothesis.
I never said that I could disprove it. That's gaslighting. I'm saying that it could be disproved later on down the line because that's what science does.
You just said it 2 seconds ago. So again, Craig.
I never said that I could disprove it. I said that it could be wait. No, you don't get to gaslight me. You don't get to gaslight me. I never said that... hold on, let me finish. I never said that I could disprove it. Right? I said that it could be disproved later on down the line.
Okay, so you can disprove my hypothesis about water boiling, please?
Sorry, did the words not come out my mouth just then?
It's been how many? Wait, it's been how many years since?
Let me. Right, maybe I'm not speaking English. I could try it in Klingon.
Okay.
No. All right. Okay, I'll try it in English again. So, like, let me do the English for you. Maybe that'll work this time. So, I'm not saying that I right now at this very second can disprove your hypothesis, but that doesn't mean that at some point later on down the line, me or somebody else couldn't disprove your hypothesis.
Again, you know that you cannot disprove a validated hypothesis.
Incorrect.
Incorrect. Okay, go disprove my validated hypothesis, please.
Maybe it could be later on down the line.
Maybe isn't actually disproving it. It's just you making my point. It's
yeah, because science never says it's final. Science can always later on provide other evidence that can disprove something. Right? Right now, all you've done is disprove something. Right? But later on down the line, what you have come up with could be disproved. I'm not saying that I could do it right now. I'm not saying I could do it in 2 years' time. I'm saying that at some point down the line, science could come up with an alternative explanation that better explains what is going on. Because science is transitional.
Science is transitional.
Yes, sorry. This is a fact.
Can you please go to everybody in the world and tell them, listen here, water doesn't boil with heat energy.
No, I never said... Right, no, please tell me when I said that.
That's what you're insinuating.
No, it's not. I'm saying that later on down the line, there may be a way to disprove what you are saying.
How are you going to disprove that heat?
I don't know, because I'm not saying I can do it right now. I'm saying that maybe later on down the line, somebody could disprove it and come up with a better explanation. Later on. Not me, not right now. I've no idea how it could be done. I'm not saying that's the case. But later on, somebody could come up with a better explanation, because that's how science works.
Can you please give me an example where it was scientifically validated that was disproven after it was validated? Make sure it's not pseudoscience, by the way.
Everything is transitional all the time.
Can you give me one example?
Not off the top of my head. No, I can't off the top of my head. I'm sorry. I don't have that data. I don't have that data to hand right now. I off the top of my head, I can't think of an experiment that people thought was validated and then was later on disproven. I know, right now, I'm sorry, I can't think of that. But that is the fundamental basis of science. That is the fundamental basis of science, that everything can be disproven. Later on down the line, there could be a better explanation.
You have a basis assertion claim then?
No, I've got. It's not a basis assertion. I've got citations for it. So again, nothing that I have said is baseless. I have citations for what I have said. In fact, do you want to know how many citations I've got? I can count them. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I've got 17 citations up here right now. So not baseless assertions, things that are backed up by scientists. and educational establishments like Harvard University, Berkeley University, you know? So unless you think you know science, then all of these educational establishments better. How can you claim that?
Sorry, is psychology science?
Psychology, what's that got to do with anything?
Because this one you gave me, the one reference is psychology. Another one is
what I gave you the reference. What I gave you is Harvard University talking about scientific proof. That's it.
You don't read references through, but the one reference is from a psychology experiments. That already shows it's not. Oh, another one, Darwin caught in evolution. What has evolution got to do with science?
Evolution is a fact. Yeah, that's references.
With science, Craig.
I mean, there's lots of references there.
Pseudoscientific. I don't care if it's the king of
I mean, you can say it's pseudoscientific, but there's nothing there that is pseudoscientific. And again, unless you think you know better than all of the scientists and people that work at Harvard University, you can't claim that that's false. Not just Harvard University, not just Harvard University, Berkeley University, Oregon State University, MIT, for fuck's sake. Do you know better than all of these places?
These guys are also talking about how mathematics proves and stuff. Since when is
maths proves, that's a fact. Like right now, I could prove to you that 0.999 recurring is exactly the same as 1. I could prove that to you right now.
You want me to debunk math proofs quickly?
No. Proof is where maths is where proof lives. That's the thing about proof.
I'm literally going to prove maths does not prove.
But that's what maths is. Maths is where proof lives.
I have one ice pack here, Craig.
You have what, sorry?
I want to multiply this ice pack to, let's say, 5 ice packs. Mathematically, I'm going to just times it by 4.
Wait, you think if you times something by 4, you get 5?
Sorry? Plus by 4.
Yeah, you said times.
It was a misspoke. Plus by 4.
Yeah.
If I take this plus, look, and a plus by 4, do I have 5 ice bags in reality?
No, because maths isn't saying this is what reality is. Maths is providing mathematic proofs, because that is where you find. Maths is where you find proof. That's where you put your proof. That's where proof in science is from. It's in the mathematics.
Mathematically, Craig.
Again,
mathematically, Craig.
No. What you did was you said that maths is different to reality. No. What you did was you said that maths is different to reality, right? But that's not how it works. In maths, I can times 1 by 5 and get 5. That's always going to be true. That is proven that 1 times 5 is 5. Right? That's proof. Right? And like I said, right. Do you want to have a little bit of fun? Right? I did this yesterday in my stream. Right?
Did that prove that I had 5 ice picks in my hand now?
Well, no, because ice picks aren't mathematics. Right? But 1 times 5 is still 5. Right? Now,
problem.
Math, right? Okay, again, right. No, just give me 1 sec. Give me 1 sec. Do you want to do some fun with maths that will help you with the proof concept, right?
Can we just finish my? Can I just finish my point first? Then you can have your fun. But anyway, and it's getting kind of late as well. Anyway, I proved it mathematically that I can have 5 bags. In reality, I
bags
still
aren't
have
maths.
1.
Yeah. Bags aren't maths. Numbers are maths.
The numbers were proven. Math was proven.
Yeah, but bags. The bags nothing to do with maths. Maths is math.
It's proven in reality.
Yeah, but again, bags aren't maths. Maths is math. And in maths, no matter what, 1 times 5 is always going to be 5. That is always going to be true. But in reality, I cannot multiply 1 bag to get 5 bags. That's magic. That's not maths. But hold on. But if I got 4 more bags, then I would have times that 1 by 5 and got 5 bags in total. Right? You can't magically make 5 bags, but if you multiply the amount of bags you have, then you have more bags. Maths
But that's
is
right.
about what's proven, as in 1 times 5 is 5. That is a proof. That's it.
But you understand what I'm trying to explain to you?
Yeah. You're trying to say that maths isn't reality, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying maths provides proof.
You agree with me? Maths is then not science.
Maths is the language of science. I agree. Maths isn't science. Maths is what science uses as a language.
Why so many .educational edu citation says maths is science?
It says maths is the language of science.
Just like you accusing me of saying, oh, you're saying it's pseudoscientific. You're going against Harvard. Are you going against mainstream science now? We're saying
so
maths
which mainstream science says maths is science? What says that?
Okay. I had it here somewhere. Let me quickly find it. I'm just quickly looking for. I had one here somewhere. Conversation. Branches of science. This is leaveagreed.com. Okay, I don't know. But this is for chemistry, and are they saying branches of science? Social sciences as well. Definitely not science, guys. There's no such thing as formal sciences. You have one science that is natural
what is that from?
What did Lever Greed you? Whatever. It's an educational science.
That's not mainstream science. What mainstream science says, what you're taught at university, what everybody that goes to university is taught, is that maths is the language of science. No one is taught that maths is science, because maths is maths, but maths is used in science as a language.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you. Formal sciences is quite a unique area of study in science, as it uses formal systems to produce knowledge and explore the nature of different disciplines, ranging from mathematics and logic to computer science and information technology. The most important branches of formal sciences are mathematics, logic, computer science, data science, statistics, system science, artificial intelligence, and information technology.
Yeah, so again, where's that from? Is that a .edu site? Who wrote that? Does it come from a scholar site? Does it come from a .edu site? Or is it just an opinion website like all of these things are that are causing the problems? That's the thing, is that you and a lot of other people get all these citations from websites that aren't educational, that aren't from scientific establishments, that they're just opinion websites that people have put up to try and educate in science, but sometimes they get it wrong. Ask any actual scientist, or go to any actual university. Ask anyone in the world involved in science, and they'll tell you that no, maths isn't science. It's the language of science. That's just what we're told. All right. I don't know. I don't think you did, but you didn't go to university and study engineering or physics or anything, did you?
No, I didn't need to.
Right. So when you do, one of the things that you're told is about the function of maths within science and how important it is. But that maths itself isn't a science. It's just maths. It's a language to lay out data in the world. It's part of science, absolutely. Maths is kind of vital within science, but maths isn't a science. And this is just what we're told at university. What everyone in the world is told when they go to university to study physics and engineering or maths or anything relating to statistics or anything. It's that it's a language, and it's as simple as that.
I have so much citations that I can pull up here showing this. Mathematics is currently a science.
Is it from an educational website?
Educational sites. There's so much. If you just type in "math is scientific," it brings
yeah.
up
But
a
again,
whole
how much of that is from actual accredited educational sources, and how much of it is what's causing the problem? Because, like this, we've been talking about this article from Harvard, right? And like it says it's the erroneous notions and the misconceptions that cause these problems. And these erroneous notions and misconceptions come from the websites that aren't accredited in teaching. They're the ones that cause the problems by not putting the right things out there. When you do the research, you need to actually look for, where it's from. That it's not just an opinion piece. Is it from an educational establishment? Rather than using just Google, go to Google Scholar. That's a better thing to do.
So you're telling me Tennessee Tech Education, Tennessee University is false when they say mathematics is the science and study of quality, structure, space, and change?
Quality, structure, space, and change.
Is the science and study of quality.
Well, there's maths is involved in that, absolutely.
No, they're saying science. It's science.
Yeah. And again, is that a .edu site or?
Yes, it's the University of Tennessee Tech. Tennessee Tech University. Right.
Okay, so the maths is the language that's in, right? That's what it is. I mean, just go to Google Scholar and look at maths as a language, and that's the this is kind of an irrelevant thing. Maths is maths, right? Maths is a language to help describe something. It's involved in science. It has to be, but I mean, maths isn't a science because you can't experiment on maths. You can't form a hypothesis and a prediction on maths because maths is just something that provides proof, right? And that's why I wanted to get to the fun bit with you, right?
So you just concede now then your so-called hypothesis of orbiting with Venus is now not valid.
Well, no, of course that's valid. Why wouldn't that be valid?
Your statement now just disproved that whole argument that you can use the math.
But I didn't use maths in my hypothesis.
So you didn't have any math in your prediction. You didn't have
and again, I didn't say you can't use maths in science. Maths is the language of science.
Maths is not the language of science. Math is just math.
Yeah, and it's what science uses as a language to show data. Maths is simply a language. That's all it is. Maths is a language. It's the language of the universe.
Okay, would you quickly write me a hypothesis just using maths, please?
I couldn't write your hypothesis using maths because I never said that I could. I said that maths is included in science. You can use maths to provide data and evidence and proofs, but maths isn't. I never said that you could provide a hypothesis just using maths. That's a lovely gaslight.
Okay, you're kind of contradicting yourself all the time. This is my whole point.
I didn't contradict myself once. I never said that thing that you said that I said. I never said that I could perform a hypothesis with maths because I said that maths isn't science, and therefore you can't make an observation in maths. You can't perform a hypothesis in maths. You can't perform an experiment on maths. Maths is just a language. It's the literal language of the universe.
Great. I agree with you. Maths is not science. So when you're trying to evoke maths, then you are just showing you don't have an hypothesis. Hence,
again, maths is part of science, but maths isn't a science.
Waiting.
So you don't get to just gaslight me, all right? Maths is part of science, all right?
Where's maths part of science?
Because you can use maths to provide proofs and data and a language.
Prove something, people.
Maths is where the proofs are.
Ah, so now there's proofs, guys, but there was no proofs before.
No, science doesn't prove anything. Maths does.
Maths is now science. So
yeah, exactly. Science doesn't prove anything. Maths does.
So you have proofs of math in science. Is that what you're saying?
No, you have mathematical proofs within science, but that's not science proving things. A mathematical proof is something like, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That's something that's been proven, right? Pythagoras' theorem, right? That's a mathematical proof. And that can form part of your evidence for science.
Okay, so let's say you're setting up an equation and
an equation of what?
Predictions, right? You're predicting things on that equation. You're just using maths, correct?
An equation for what, though?
Anything
What kind of equation? Hyperbolic, quadratic?
It doesn't matter. The point I'm trying to make is you're using an equation to create a hypothesis, correct?
No.
No?
I never said that I could do that.
So you don't use equations to create predictions for your science?
I could use an equation within my prediction, yeah.
So, okay.
But you don't use it, exclusively, but you can have it as part of your prediction. Maths can be included in any part of the scientific method. It can be part of it, but science isn't maths. Maths is just the language that is used within science. I don't know why this is so hard. But this is why I want, the fun thing I wanted to do with you is kind of get into my point of why we say that maths is proof, right?
I don't want to go over. Can I make a point quickly? Just because I don't want to go on forever. Simply, my point is, if you're saying and you're using maths like you trying to use to observe Venus or whatever, make a prediction, it's based on a mathematical model. Now you've made that prediction. I've just proved maths can be described and proved in math, but in reality it does not. So it's not scientific, it's pseudoscience.
You saying maths is pseudoscience?
You have not manipulated anything.
Did you just say, did you just say maths is pseudoscience?
Yes, if you're using math to make a reality, it's pseudoscience because it's based on the belief.
Right, so you can't use any maths within science at all, is that what you're saying?
No, that's a straw man. I'm saying if you're using math as how can I put it, as your observation for hypothesis, you have already evoked non-scientific law because it's math can be discredited in reality, just like I've just done now, showing you with
maths. You can't discredit maths in reality because you had a false analogy. You were like, well, I can't just multiply this bag to get 5 bags. No one says that you can. But if you multiply 1 by 5, you get 5. That's a proof that will always be true. No matter what happens, 1 times 5 will always be 5, regardless of what happens. No matter. The universe could explode and come back together. Flatzoid, you could win the Nobel Prize. Never going to happen. But these things could happen, and 1 times 5 will always be 5, because that's a mathematical proof. Right? And that's why I wanted to get to the fun bit, to show you what we mean by a mathematical proof, right? Because I can prove to you, right? Right, listen, I can prove to you that 2 numbers are the same number, right? I can prove to you that 0.999 repeating is exactly the same as 1.
Okay, let me put it this way. You believe gravity can hold gas down, correct?
I don't have a belief. I know that gravity exists because I've measured it.
You have a mathematical model that says it holds it down, correct?
There's a mathematical model that describes it, yes.
Okay, so you've just put all your belief in a mathematical model.
Again, I don't have a belief. I don't know what. Don't gaslight me and say beliefs, because I don't have beliefs.
Listen, hence the bag. In reality, maths does nothing to the gas.
No one ever said maths does anything to the gas, but maths can describe what's happening to the gas. What you're doing right now is strawmanning the position of maths within science. Nobody's saying that maths can physically manipulate anything. No one's saying that maths can do anything. Maths is a descriptor. Maths is a language. Maths can describe what is happening exactly and provide proofs within maths, but maths doesn't change anything.
What's a string theorist? Are they scientists?
Theoretical physicists are scientists, yeah.
String theorists.
It's a random question.
Do they work with equations, scientific experiment equations, or do they?
They're theorists. They don't do experiments.
But they do scientific equations and predictions, do they not?
They use a lot of maths proofs to put out theories, which are then tested by the experimental physicists. But again, they're just using a language to try and describe the universe. That's all they're doing, right? That's it. They're using a language. They're not using maths to try and alter the world. They're not saying that maths can make this happen. They're simply saying, I'm trying to describe the universe using maths. I'm trying to, string theorists in particular, they're trying to describe how the vibrations of energy makes matter come into being. They're trying to mathematically explain that. But that doesn't mean that the maths that they're doing is going to change anything. They're just trying to come up with a description. Like when Newton came up with a description of what was going on. He made an observation and he said that Fg equals gm1m2 over r squared. That doesn't change anything. That's just a description, an observation of what's going on mathematically.
And so you use that description to base your reality, do you not?
Well, no, we would use that to test things.
Ah, okay.
We would use that, that equation specifically, Fg equals gm1m2 over r squared. We can use that math proof to test hypothesis, to form a prediction. It's part of something, but that doesn't mean that we're saying that that is changing anything. It's just a description. The same, let's talk about your bags for a second, right? If you have one bag, you've got one bag, right? But if you've then got another 4 bags, you times that one bag by 5, and now you've got 5 bags. That doesn't mean your bag magically turned into 5 bags, but you've now got 5 times as many bags. And that's mathematically proof, right?
But you understand what my point I'm getting? That if you're using, let's say, the gravitational equations to make a prediction in space or whatever, how are you validating this? Because you've built your
premise... You would perform an experiment.
You've built your premise on a language that goes against reality, as I've just proven.
I mean, it doesn't go against reality in the slightest. But to answer your question, simple. You would design an experiment to test the prediction.
How do you know what you are trying to validate is even reality? Because it was based.
That's the entire point of trying to validate. That's the entire point of doing an experiment. You don't know until you've done the experiment. But a mathematical proof will always be a mathematical proof. It's never going to stop being a mathematical proof, right?
Exactly. Mathematically,
right. So
that's the whole point. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't prove reality.
Let's do. This is quite. Oh, I need a pen. Where's my pens?
Inferences. That your model is based on math.
Sharpie. I don't want a Sharpie.
Okay, but anyway,
I'm just trying to find a pen. Well, before you go, I want to do one thing with you, which is fun and will help my points about mathematical proof. Right? Give me 1 sec. So,
I can't see that. Remember.
So can you see my screen?
Can you share your screen on Discord, maybe?
Yeah, 1 sec.
Stop streaming quickly. Okay, I'm stopping. But anyway, yeah, while we're waiting for Craig, thank you everybody that's coming in. Yeah, I don't know how to get it more through to him. I'm trying my best to make it understand.
Okay, so
yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see.
Right, so this is what I mean by mathematical proof, okay? I can prove to you that 1 equals...
It's freezing.
Oh, it's frozen, is it? Why is it doing that?
I see the sound going up in you, though.
Hold on. For some reason, my entire system has frozen up, and I don't know why.
But Craig, in all fairness, I am enjoying this, though. Thanks.
Yeah, that's all right. I really want to do this, but my entire system has frozen. Oh my goodness, what is going on? 1 second. Nope. It does not want to let me play.
Oh man.
Just give me 1 sec.
No, don't stress. Whatever topic you want, just let me know. Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry, I'm just trying to reset my system. I don't know what happened. I think there was a little power cut for a second because everything went dark.
Man. What's going off again? I hope it's still going to be on.
What's that all about? Why are they doing that?
They're claiming a power outage. We're having a very bad...
there we go.
How can I put it? The load on the system is too much because the backup gens and stuff are all failing everywhere, and so they can't keep the whole of the country running the whole time. So we have about load shedding about 3 times a day. At least it's gone down a bit now. So we're off like 2 hours, on for maybe 3 or 4 hours, and we're off again 2 hours or whatever. But last week and the beginning of this week, it was bad. I mean, I had a time where I only had an hour for a day, where I had power for only an hour.
Weird.
So very bad.
Right.
But you see, they're very clever though, because every time they restart the system when it goes through the grid, the power peaks. So in other words, it's taking more power and you're paying more electricity at the end of the day.
Oh.
It's actually very clever.
So they're just trying to get more money out of you whilst not giving you power.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Well, I unfortunately, I think my computer is completely crapped out all of a sudden, so I'm not going to be able to finish that. But I do want to go with this. It helped my point on maths proofs. So can I go through it with you in another time?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, then we can do another debate. I really don't mind. It'll be great. Actually, quite cool.
All right. Maybe we could get a couple of actual scientists on to talk as well.
Maybe we can try.
Yeah. But I'm going to leave them out, and I'm going to say thank you to you for having me on. And I'm going to try and sort out whatever's happening on my tech and finish my stream.
100%. Thank you very much.
Right, no worries. And thank you to Flatzoid's audience for the nasty comments about me. I very much enjoyed reading those during this stream. See you later.
Okay, cheers, Craig.
Right, guys. I don't know what's going on with my tech today. I'm really, really sorry. I've been having some major issues, and I'm not sure why. As long as you can hear me, that's the best thing. And I think you can hear me. All right, give me 1 sec. I'm going to try and reset it.